So let's create something. We're going to create a cube which is 50 millimeters by 50 millimeters by 50 millimeters. Really simple to start with. And the first thing we do for any part is we need to sketch out something. Okay, so you imagine actually building a cube, you need to build that somewhere. And in Inventor we have what are called planes. So you can come to the left here and click on this plus symbol. Okay, and what I want you to do is left click the top plane and then right click, and where it says visibility, turn that on. Okay, and then do the same with the others. So left click and then right click and visibility. Okay, and now this might have come in big, it might have come in small, but use your wheel to zoom in and you'll see that it looks, in the view I'm in, it looks like a star shape. What's actually happening is you're getting 3 planes. Okay, so if you're familiar with X, Y, Z and the coordinate system, this will make sense to you. If not, don't worry. You can see here, let's go to front view, we have this X and Y. Now when we're drawing and we use coordinates, we use X, Y, Z. X being along the screen, Y being up the screen, and that's traditional 2D drawing. It's X across and then Y. If you see a coordinate, it's always X first. So 50 by 50 would be 50 and then 50, X and Y. Okay, within 3D we bring in another one which is Z, so you could have X, Y and Z. Don't worry if that doesn't make sense, just doing it will make it absolutely clear, believe me. Now when I spoke about using my mouse and clicking on these, it can get a bit cumbersome trying to work out which is the correct orientation. So I'm going to bring in another view command now. If you hold down Shift key on your keyboard and hold down the wheel at the same time, hold it down, you'll see you get this symbol, and when you move your mouse you can move your view. Okay, now this takes a bit of practice. When you first start doing this, you can end up zooming out or moving miles off your screen, so it does take a bit of getting used to. If you do go wrong, then you can click this home button, which will take you to your home view, or you can click one of these and that should get you back. Okay, so these planes we see here, if you notice, they match our coordinate system. So this plane allows you, this flat plane works in X and Z. This flat plane here works in X and Y, and this flat plane works in Y and Z. Okay, and that's how they're named: YZ plane, XY plane. Okay, so when you create a model, you want to create it, you need to create it really on one of these planes. You don't just have something floating in anywhere. Okay, and all models, all part files start with a sketch. So again, you may be scratching your head thinking, what the hell is he on about? Well, it all becomes clear when you start doing it, which is why I like people to just get creating from the beginning, and that's what we'll do. So click on Start 2D Sketch and you'll get this symbol here. It shows us a pencil and a plane. That's asking you where do you want to do this sketch. You need to do a sketch on a plane, so where do you want to do it? And we're just going to click this one, doesn't matter for now. Okay, and what it does, it zooms so it's looking directly down on whatever plane you choose. We now have different commands up here, and these are our sketch commands. We also if you notice on the screen, we have this crosshairs. Where the yellow dot is, that is our 0, 0 point, our origin center point. Okay, so each of these, x, y, z, as a coordinate system, it goes from 0 to whatever, infinity, and then it also goes the other way, 0 to minus whatever. Okay, so z would be plus, minus, and the same for y. This is 0, and where the center point is, that's 0 in x, y, and z. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to draw a rectangle. And I'm going to click this rectangle here, and if you're experienced inventor, you might not like what you see now, but I'm going to do it to prove a point. Okay, so I'm going to draw my rectangle there, and you can see the plane just moves to surround what we've drawn, because we've put our first bit of geometry into this file. Okay, until we do that, Inventor doesn't know what we're going to draw and how big it's going to be. Drawing that as give it some kind of idea. But we know our cube wants to be 50 by 50. 50 millimeters by 50 millimeters. If you're coming from an if you're coming from an AutoCAD background, you'll be scratching your head thinking, how did he draw that? How did he tell it was 50 millimeters? Well, in Inventor, it kind of works the other way around. And this is something I couldn't get my head around when I taught, because I was self-taught with Inventor. So it took me a while to get my head around this. But in Inventor, the traditional way of drawing is to draw your rough geometry and then tell the software how large it is. Okay? So all I did, if I undo that, all I did was click on rectangle, and you can see this rectangle, it's asking for a top left point and a bottom right point, or just 2 points. It doesn't have to be those particular ones. You could draw it that way around if you want. So all I did is roughly draw a rectangle. Okay, I haven't mentioned any dimensions. So you then click on the dimension button, and you click on the line. Okay, and we can see now this line I drew was actually 8.256 millimeters. Once we drop that dimension in by left clicking again, it comes up with a box, and we can type in here 50. And if we zoom out, okay, it's now set that line to 50. So in AutoCAD or something like that, you would go to draw a line and tell AutoCAD how large that line is, and then it draws it. In Inventor, you just draw a rough line, plonk a dimension on, and then type it in. And that, the reason for doing that will become apparent when we start looking at the parametric stuff, but we'll do that again here. You see it roughly scaled it up. It didn't just make the old versions of Inventor. If I'd have done that, it would have kept this line small and made that huge, and it would have looked a mess. The newer versions tend to keep everything relative. So we can click on that and type in 50, and now our square is 50 millimeters by 50 millimeters. Okay, that's a traditional way of doing it. You could also, if I undo, you can click the rectangle and left click once. You'll see now, if I go to draw it, I have two boxes here, and you can switch it between the two boxes by pressing the tab key, which is a key with two opposing arrows. It's usually under your number 1 key on your keyboard, the tab key. Okay, if you press that, it'll move between the two. So you can type in 50, don't press anything other than tab, and it'll move across to the next one. 50. Now you can press return, and there you go. So you can do it that way. You can draw something roughly, put a dimension on it, and tell it what that dimension is, or you can draw something and give it the dimension as you do it. Okay, so that's how you size rectangles. So I'm just gonna, if you left click and hold down the left button, you can drag a rectangle over all the objects and select them. and then by pressing delete, you can delete them. Okay, and I'm just going to do that again one more time. This time I'm going to type it in, so 50, tab key, 50, we have a rectangle. There we go.